I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by our City Attorney, Jeff Simon.
Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the many blessings you've bestowed upon the city of New Iberia, and we ask that you send down upon the city's elected leaders the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with their words and actions they may promote the well-being of all people, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
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 Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Present.
Councilmember Brooke Morcott.
Here.
Councilmember Moreland Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter.
Here.
Councilmember Dee Dee Johnson Reed.
Here.
Councilmember Dustin Sweer.
Here.
Thank you. Our first item is public comment. We have one comment card. At this time, I remind you to please silence your cell phones. I got to do mine. And public comment is no back and forth. It's only for us to listen. Okay.
Michael Bell to address agenda items 3A and 4A.
I'm going to skip the 4A. The 3A is important. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. I had an experience, and I infer first of all, I infer the police department 100%, and I think they need this, and I infer that 100%. But my experience, I was walking my dog one day, and we were crossing St. Peter Street, and the light was red for the traffic going east on St. Peter Street, and my dog and I, we walked across. A police officer made a right turn, and he got right on my hips. And a guy that was stopped, he yelled, "Man, what are you doing?" The officer, I asked him, said, "We have the right of way." So he insisted that he had the right of way to make the turn, regardless to my safety. So I thought that was wrong. So that's one of the main reasons I'm here. And another reason is they need to get to know the community, the people in the community. We are a diverse community, black, white, brown, yellow, and red. And if you don't know the people in the community, you can't do good policing. You can't pass in our neighborhood and not speak to some of the old people, some of the people in the community. And it would be so nice sometimes is maybe you can just stop and say hello. Because anytime you have the community working with any police department, again, I had the good fortune of working with the San Francisco Police Department in the Fillmore District, and how we solved our problem, we got the policemen involved with the community, with the people in the community, the old, the ministers, the working people, and the everyday people, and we solved a lot of problems. And first of all, it's for your safety as well as the safety of the people in the community. People will look out for you, and that has always been that way in the black community. There has never been such a loyal, dedicated people, and we are that people. It's sad that a lot of policemen have a negative attitude when they come into the black community, because you see, it's been spread out so long, so much. They come in thinking that everybody is bad in the black community, and it's not that way. You have good, hard-working people. Some of the best productive people that came out of the West End, Dr. Diggs and et cetera, I can go on and on, I grew up in the West End with a family of 10. Neither of us went to no jail. We have always been hard-working people and good people. And so that's what I would like the police department to look at us that way. And not only when you come into our community when something happens. We would like to see the police in our department, in our area, a precinct. Because New Iberia is really too spread out to say you have one local, one basic area. And I just hope and pray that the police department can just get to know the people in the community. Because, man, look, we are all one people in the city, and we got to get our act together. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, no other public comments. We'll move on to item 2A.
Acceptance of minutes of December 15th, 2020, as published on December 27th, 2020.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Broussard, a second by Councilman Swear. Is there any discussion on these minutes? Hearing and seeing none, I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Madam Clerk, item 3.
Persons to address the council, Chief Todd Dalbor, to discuss New Iberia Police Department's possible participation in the EPIC Ethical Policing is Courageous program.
First, and Mr. Bell, I appreciate your comments. Absolutely, members of our community do matter, and we will talk a little more about that in coming minutes. One of the things I'm here for today is to present a program that our department is looking to join and be a part of. Its acronym's EPIC, Ethical Policing is Courageous. It was started by some large agencies throughout the country, and it's kind of making its way through the nation in the sense that it's what it is. It's a peer intervention program. What it is the department, the officers within a police department are taking responsibility for themselves and their fellow co-workers. Sergeant Derek Rock is here with me along with Sergeant Dacia Hughes. He will show a little more about exactly what it is in a PowerPoint. But as we met as a department in our departmental meeting, the unanimous from our offices is that they're going to, what they're promising and committing to our community is that they will intervene in cases or potential cases where another officer may do something that crosses the line. What they have committed to do is that they won't allow it to happen. They will look out for each other in that sense. This is no longer a blue wall issue of police covering for each other. This is a initiative by our department, the members of our department, that won't allow that to be a wall. It's going to be, we're not going to allow it from a fellow member or anyone around us that comes in that police our city. We will assure our community in what we do that we will do the right thing and make sure that if other members, because the way that the officers look at it is very simply that if an officer is going to lose their temper or whatever it may be, if they intervene and stop that from happening, they probably, one, saved that officer's career in making a bad choice, and also protected the community at the same time, and able to take a situation and de-escalate it to where we can serve our community better. We already have these policies in place as a department, and me as the department head sits on top, and that's where internal reviews and those things take place. This allows them to review it before it becomes an internal issue. You know, how better of policing itself to do the right thing before it ever becomes an issue where an officer does something that crosses the line. You know, and that's the commitment that our department is making and has made. Like I said, I want, and you know, I've always said that as chief of police, I can give you the chief speak of what our plans are, but I'd rather you hear it from the members of our core group of officers, from them. So I'm going to ask Sergeant Rock to come up and present the program in more detail, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a brief description of the actual program that I'll be talking about.
It's okay. How are you doing? I'm good.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can direct your attention to the screen, please. So to continue on what Chief Dalbor said, the new program that we would like to start is called EPIC. It is a peer intervention program for our community and for officer safety. So what is the EPIC program? EPIC stands for Ethical Policing is Courageous. It is a peer intervention program developed by a larger department here in the state of Louisiana in collaboration with community partners to promote a culture of high quality and ethical policing. To help meet the growing demand for peer intervention training, the same department is working with the Georgetown University Law Center's ABLE project. ABLE project stands for Bystandership for Law Enforcement, which is also a national police intervention program founded upon the success of the EPIC program. EPIC educates, empowers, supports officers on the streets to play a meaningful role in policing one another. EPIC is a peer intervention program that teaches officers how to intervene to stop a wrongful action before it occurs. At its core, EPIC is an officer survival program, a community safety program, and a job satisfaction program. EPIC presents a cultural change in policing that equips, encourages, and supports officers to intervene to prevent misconduct and ensure high-quality policing. Everyone benefits when potential misconduct is not perpetrated or when a potential mistake is not made. So, what EPIC is about. Peer intervention has proven effective in high-stress settings, from schools to hospitals to commercial airline companies. Immediate and consistent interventions reinforce the boundaries of acceptable behavior and emphasize that our critical loyalty is to our profession and our community. So how does EPIC work? EPIC seeks to incorporate active bystandership into everything an officer does and to provide officers with the tools and resources needed to do it well. EPIC strives to redefine police culture so that intervention to prevent or stop harmful action is not an exception to good teamwork. It is the very definition of good teamwork. To do this, EPIC reaches throughout the police department and touches everything the department does. EPIC redefines critical loyalty not to officers, but to the community and to the profession. It changes, or at least adds to, what we look for in officers when we hire them. It trains officers and supervisors to identify danger signs. It equips officers with the skills they need to intervene before problems occur or escalate, and to do so safely. It supports and protects officers who do the right thing, and it provides officers with resources to help make ethical decisions. Our department's management is fully committed to peer intervention and to the key role it will play as we all work together to transform the New Iberia Police Department into a premier law enforcement institution. EPIC is based on the principles of active bystandership as described by psychology professor and researcher Dr. Evan Stabb. Most people are passive bystanders, assuming no responsibility for the actions of others. Active bystanders speak up and take action, stepping in to stop a harmful behavior when they see it. So why don't people intervene? They have a fear of standing alone. They have a fear of being wrong, a fear of making things worse, a fear of crossing boundaries, and a fear of retaliation. So most people lack the internal impetus to act. They lack the knowledge or skill. They lack the confidence in the effectiveness of what they can do. They lack empathy for others, and they lack the courage. EPIC gives us the tools to overcome these inhibitors by training officers to recognize potential triggers for themselves and others, and by teaching them effective intervention strategies. For EPIC to succeed, departments must foster a culture of openness and transparency. Leadership must be fully vested, and protections must be established for officers who do intervene. My apologies. Technical difficulties. So, when EPIC is in our department, excuse me. When the program goes into effect and all the officers and the supervisors and all the administration is actually went through the program and they're trained properly, it brings higher morale through the department. It has better retention and recruitment with officers outside the agency. It has increased public trust when they see that we police different. You have healthier, and more stable officers with the EPIC program. It also brings fewer disciplinary issues within the police department. It brings in fewer citizen complaints. It has fewer officer grievances, and it has fewer lawsuits and scandals. So, how do we get started? We ensure buy-in from leadership. Right now, the chief, the AC, the mayor, and all the police department is behind the program. We revise, we create new policies to protect officers who intervene on behalf of the wrongdoing. Right now, we already have 2 policies in place that is against retaliation. We are implementing more policies to protect the officers who intervene when an officer is doing wrong against the general public. We involve community stakeholders. We talk to different organizations as the ministers of the community, the Boys and Girls Club of Acadiana, the city council members, and we get everybody involved. We integrate with department wellness initiatives. After training officers, they will practice performance recovery strategies for when high stress situations occur, and they will be trained to recognize and address risky behavior from officers. The department has to choose instructors who can think on their feet for the EPIC program. As of right now, I am one of the ones that the chief has chosen. Sergeant Hughes, my partner, is the second one. My other partner in the back, Sergeant Christopher Rudd, and Captain Pellerin are the instructors at this time to go through the process, the class, if you so choose to. Also, we need to identify ways to continue momentum beyond training. So, how do we do that? We observe officers in the field. We talk to their supervisors. We look at after-action reports, and anything involving an EPIC situation must be reviewed by the trainers and upper admin. Thank you guys. Thank you councilmen and councilwomen for listening to me talk today. I'm gonna hand it over to Sergeant Rudd.
Good evening. I'm Sergeant Rudd. I'm the shift sergeant with the police department, as well as the assistant public information officer to Sergeant Hughes here. I just wanted to touch, well, first off, thank y'all for giving us the time to present this to y'all. Sergeant Rock here, I think did a great job putting it all together and spearheading this. I just wanted to touch on a few things, a few points from our viewpoint as officers out there, on the street doing the job. This program, I think one of the biggest advantages that you're going to see is it affects us in a positive manner straight off the bat from the recruiting standpoint. Because what it's going to do is it's going to allow us, as we have a potential employee, as they come in for interviewing, we're going to see certain traits that we're looking for in regard to folks that are going to buy into this program. And that's going to be an important step in the recruiting process. In addition to that, I think what's one of the big advantages you're going to see is it's going to draw the right kind of applicants. So when a prospective employee is looking at places to apply, and we're putting it out there as an agency that this is our methodology, this is how we do things, this is our approach, and this is what's important to us, I think that's going to have a positive impact on who it is that comes to us and says, I'd like to work here. Because we're going to be attracting the right folks to the New Iberia Police Department. Another thing I wanted to just touch on, this program is going to equip our officers with a new skill set in regard to intervening when that's needed. That's not always an easy thing to do, obviously. It can often be an uncomfortable situation. We have to step in and say, hold on, this isn't right. Let's stop this before it goes too far. We're going to give our officers that tool set, or that skill set to do just that. So we're expanding and essentially creating more well-rounded officers out of this. Additionally, what I think it's going to do, it's going to give our officers more tools to make ethical decisions. And again, that's going to play into making our officers more well-rounded. So the last thing I want to touch on, and what I think is important, because it's a standout point in the program, is the fact that this program completely preaches against any type of retaliation. And I think that's important because, again, this program, what it's set up to do is, even if you're a lower ranking officer and you see a sergeant or a lieutenant that maybe they're going down the wrong path in regard to handling a situation, that officer is free to step in, tactfully of course, and with professionalism, and say, hey, hold on, let's stop this before it goes too far. And that officer can do that without any fear of retaliation for doing just that. So I think that is one of the key points that stood out to me whenever the chief brought this to myself and a few others. One thing I want to say is this was presented to our department here recently, and I can tell you straight off, as soon as it was presented, there was an immediate buy-in. Our officers, I've already had officers contact me off on the side and say, I think this is a really good thing that we're doing here. So that's pretty neat to me that we're seeing that immediate buy-in from our officers, because we want to do the right thing, and we want to maintain and continue to build on that community trust. Because essentially without that community trust, we're really nothing without that. So again, thank y'all for listening to us, allowing us to present this, and again, I think Sergeant Hughes has a few points she wants to touch on.
Good evening. EPIC. Ethical policing is courageous. Courageous. The ability to act on one's beliefs despite danger or disapproval. Courage is also being daring, having the audacity, boldness, and heroism. Those are a few words that I would use to describe my coworkers. When the chief presented this program to our department yesterday, there was not one person that disagreed with initiating this program and how it would benefit our department. Sergeant Rock did an excellent job at presenting what the initiative is all about. We hope that each one of you will see the benefit and that it would have on our department, so that we may become better officers, so that we can better serve the community and the commitment that we made to protect and serve the community. We would like to thank each and every one of you for listening to our new initiative that we would like to enforce. Mr. Bell, I as well apologize for you not seeing more of the community, seeing more police officers in the community. As the public information officer, you will see more of me, and I apologize again for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All three obviously speak from the core group of our department and how they feel about our community. You know, that's why with Mr. Bell, you know, I know he talked from his heart, and you know, it strikes a nerve with all of us because we serve all of you, everyone. And we want no part of this community to feel like they're underappreciated or don't have the service that they feel they deserve, and they do. All members of our community deserve the best service, and that's what this is about. It's about us allowing to get better. What I'm asking for the council, these three, along with Captain Pellerin, are with a resolution of support from the council, will obtain training from Georgetown University to learn how to teach this program to every member of our department. So this would allow them to do that. And so what I'm asking for is a resolution of support for us to be a part of the EPIC program and ABLE through Georgetown University. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I'm going to open the floor for questions. I just want to say that when the chief brought this to me, I immediately saw that it was something very worthwhile doing in our community. You know, the saddest day I have is when the chief and I have to discipline an officer when it really could have been prevented. You know, we put a panel together, we hired 70-something of the best people we could find, and we have a great police department. People are human, they make mistakes. And there are times that we are having to rearrange somebody's life from a demotion or discipline, or sometimes we have to let them go. And in many, many instances, that could have been prevented. If you look at the money that we invest, the time that we invest, the training, the best day, the chief and I have said this from the beginning, the best day is when someone leaves our department for a better job, for a higher position. They go on to the state police, or they go on to the FBI or the marshals. That's a compliment for what we invested in those people. But it takes time and money to do that. So it's really, you know, every time, I mean, I've had to fire people a very long time. I've owned my own business and here as well. And it's a sad day when you have to do that, and especially when there are times that you have to take disciplinary action that had somebody stepped in the heat of the moment when they saw something going awry and just said, hey, back up, maybe you're too close to this, let me handle it, chill out, you're going down a bad path with this. It would have saved that officer. If you look at a financial position, it would have saved the training that we put into that officer, the time that we put in, and the overall morale of our whole department. So I think it's very worthwhile. I think it's a good thing, and I'll open the floor if anybody has any questions.
Question?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have to turn those on first?
They're on all the time.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, first off, I'm always in support of bettering our police department. I have the neighborhood watch in Acadian Acres, and we rely on our police very heavily. My question is, so a certain few officers go and they get the training and they come back and they teach everybody in the office?
Yes, it's a train-the-trainer, yes.
Okay. So my next question is, can we sit in that training by any chance? And I'm asking because I know our mayor likes to show up at different scenes. I do too, if it's in my district. So I think that we could benefit from that kind of training.
We do plan on, actually, Sergeant Hughes and I have talked, because interesting, Mr. Bell brought up some points. One of the things, what I tend to do, and the department knows when I had the meeting, that at the end of every year, I always call it, take a look in the mirror. What are we doing well, and what are we not doing so well? And how can we become better from and learn from maybe what we didn't do so well, so that we can become more proficient at that? One of the things that Sergeant Hughes and I talked about along with Sergeant Rudd is being able to get more information to the community through a public information, doing more public service in a sense of getting involved with our civic groups, getting involved with some some groups of Boys and Girls Club, just other things that gets us more in the community. So that way we become more visible and more user-friendly, I guess is the right word, that people feel that they can come to us in times of need because we're there, they see us more often. And it goes back to the aspect of they want to see our officers so they can get to know them.
Right.
We need to do more of that. That's something that we discussed and we are implementing. They are tasked with coming up with what's the next step to go do those things, not just talk about it.
Right.
So what we'll do with that is that with this EPIC program, once they learn what it is to train, then we can always sit with the group or whoever it is in the community, so that way they know what this program's about and learn more about it to educate you.
Okay.
So yes.
Gotcha. Thank you. I have a question.
Okay. I think the Mayor Pro Tem is
Oh,
next.
sure.
and I'll
Okay.
go, Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Got to get used to them new names.
That's right. So Chief, I think there's a tremendous amount of upswing on a program like this, but my question is, does an office ever become EPIC compliance, or is it ongoing educational throughout their career?
But in sincerity of this is that actually this is above and beyond what the state and federal governments are requiring of departments throughout the nation. We're already compliant. In fact, we had a letter from Governor Edwards' office through Law Enforcement Commission that we're already compliant with our policies and procedures. We ran our policy and procedures through Dr. Salmon, who is nationally accredited in looking at policies, and we always update as we go and stay in compliance with our insurance companies and things like this. So we're already in compliance. This is above and beyond. This is an additional tool and resource for our department personnel that enables them to step in prior to it becoming an issue to where it's a policy violation. If an officer sees, that's what you just heard talked about, if an officer sees someone that's officer getting hot-tempered or whatever it may be for whatever situation they're in, it's to simply say, hold on, I got this. And step in and intervene before it becomes a policy issue and something that falls in guidelines. We don't want it to go there. Our officers want to look out for each other and that way save them from themselves. You know, and it doesn't matter which, I mean, we have people work in hospitals and other places and doctors' offices that you can get a bad patient or a bad somebody that gets your temper up. It's always nice to have a coworker say, I got this, just go and take a step and do this. And that's what this is about. This is our officers taking responsibility for themselves and for their co-workers to do the right thing. So this is above and beyond.
Councilwoman TV.
So I have a similar question. I come from the corporate world, and we would have to go through sexual harassment training. But the thing that they would always have us do is we had to repeat it every year. Even if it was through video, you had to sign off that you went through and you kind of just got re-educated on the issues. Are you guys planning something like that? Because, you know, you learn these skills, but if you aren't going back and being retrained periodically, you kind of tend to forget. So I'm just wondering, is there a plan to make sure that the officers go through this on a annual basis, you know, or, you
Yes.
know, every other year, something like that?
Yes, in fact, Sergeant Rock is part of our Professional Standards Division, which oversees training. He's one of our training officers. We do mandatory trainings. We talking about compliant and things that we do within one of the yearly trainings. There's several yearly trainings that we require. Ethics is one of them. The sexual harassment is another, workplace harassment. Anti-bias training, de-escalation training, and then there's 1,100 modules because we purchased the Police One program. Police One is a nationally, and it's certified through CLE credits. That is different training modules throughout. There's 1,100 modules that we have access to that the officers are mandated, because the training division, like Sergeant Rock, will send out a certain training for the officers, and they have a certain amount of time to complete that training. And it sends him a certificate saying that they have completed that training. So that is already mandated by our department. We have policies to back that up. EPIC is something that not only will it, because we always have new employees that could happen start in the middle of a year or wherever that may be. We have initial phase training program that whenever we hire an officer, they go to Sergeant Rock and his division, and he goes through all the policies and mandates that they have to go through, which this will be included in, and they have to get acclimated to the department and those things with ethics, anti-bias, and those things up front within the 2 week period that he has them in the front. And then they go through, each officer in the department goes through a 4-month field training program where they have to ride with a senior officer that's a certified field training officer, and then they got to go to the academy for another 3 months. So generally an officer is not cut loose on their own until they have at least 8 months of training. So this department's a lot different than a lot of smaller municipalities that may be restrained on what they have resource-wise. Our resources, and I compliment the mayor and this council, and I know some new council members, but the council overall, for approving our department to have the resources it needs to. We're one of the, our training is on par with any large municipality anywhere in this country. So our training, I'm comfortable, and I know that, like I said, we did the expense. Some council members are still here that they approved when we did Dr. Salmon to overlook all of our policies to make sure that it's compliant with all the current laws. And then when we do new policies to update, we send that back up to make sure that it's still good with that. So, and then we'll get some from the insurance company to update us from time to time too. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Councilman Lewis.
Yeah, Chief, more of a comment and maybe a question. First of all, y'all doing an awesome job, in my opinion. There's an old saying that say you got to strike while the iron is hot, and I believe this program that you're implementing, because we've only been in existence since 2018.
Yep.
So we've only had 2 full years of policing, and y'all have done a good job, I believe, handling the ups and downs of police work. I know nothing about policing and don't want to ever be a police officer, but I understand that you guys are a vital part of our community and every community. I also know that this ain't Mayberry, and we can't have Andy Griffin and Barnett running around town. You know, so what I mean by that is people ain't as nice as they used to be. You know, our world has changed a lot since 1968, a lot. I remember being a little kid, 5 or 6 years old, 7 or 8, and watching Roy Antoine at the time with his mirror sunglasses on his shiny police motorcycle saying, "I want to be a cop." Then I remember growing up singing one of NWA songs when I was 19, 20 years old. You know, how times have changed. Now I understand that we need police, and we need them more than ever. I want to ditto with Mr. Mike and say we do need more interaction in the community, and I really don't know what that would look like, but I'll tell you what I have done. I have tested. When I'm at my office and I'm sitting on the porch waiting on my next client, I'll sometimes stand at the edge of the street. I grew up on Lombard Street. I can stand at the edge of the street. and our officers pass and I'll wave. And 4 out of 5 of them, they might do this, or they, some of them might wave. But for the most part, I'm like, wow, they don't even know they're city councilman or one of the city councilmen. And that's not your fault. That's not the leadership fault. I think it's a personality thing. I don't think you can have a standard of, making people speak, but I think that needs to be implemented in the process and letting them know that. Because I remember when I was remodeling my place, the sheriff department had, they were in control of the city in terms of policing. And one of the things I did, because we had a lot of loitering around my place, I stopped an officer one day and I told him, I said, hey, I see you sit over there and do your paperwork. I say you're welcome to sit over here. And he did that, and it stopped a lot. So I guess it's a two-way street. It stopped a lot of stuff. I would like to see y'all do some of that. I talked to a lady today about her not being able to rent her house because people are hanging in the house, at that house particularly, and at the house next door, and maybe the house across the street. And I told her about my, when I let the sheriff department park at my property and how it helped. And I'm wondering if that would be an option for some of our constituents when y'all doing y'all paperwork. Can y'all stop at some of these, by request, can y'all stop at some of these properties that are abandoned and do y'all paperwork there? And I feel like that would help with some of the
As long as they
issues.
give us permission to park on
Yeah,
their property.
that's what I say, by
Yes.
request and, permission.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great program. I know it deal with diversity and understanding the different cultures that we all face on a daily basis, because obviously the West End policing and Main Street policing is different. Of course, I done heard some horror stories about Main Street on a Saturday night that make me say, man, it is just not in the West End.
No.
So what you guys are doing, I applaud. It's heading in the right direction. But again, like Mr. Mike said, and others have, said, I guess our presence is getting, seem like it's not like it was when we first started. I think we need to be more present and more friendly. And look, I say this from the business standpoint. I got people that walk in my business and they don't speak. You know what I'm like? But when they get in the chair and I talk to them, they're nice people. Some of them are shy. Some of them are. There's so many elements to that, to where I can't say, I can't blame a person for not speaking. But I think as a police officer and a public servant, I think they should make that extra effort to reach out and touch the community in that way.
Well, and you mentioned that, not necessarily me, but it is, because I'm setting the culture for the department. And one of the things that, as I look in the mirror and think some of the things we can do better, and this being a program that actually goes through the officers. So it's a direction that I've shown them and suggested and asked them to basically to buy in and to join and to be a part of this, and from them. And that's the direction that I carry down, but it's a direction that they say, yes, that's a good way. And Sergeant Rudd said it well, that when he had conversations with the officers after it got proposed, that they were all in. And that's what it is to make sure that our culture, our police culture, is one that we do have great people in our community. And it's everywhere. Now, is there some bad actors? And that's in everything you're going to deal with. And sometimes, yes, complacency will set in when sometimes you see a lot of bad stuff on a regular basis. And that's tough to deal with, because you got to also realize that the men and women that serve with us are human too. Behind the badge, there's flesh, and we bleed like everybody else, and we hurt and cry like everybody else. And it hurts sometimes when you see very bad things happen, sometimes on a repetitive basis. And then you kind of step that because you got to be able to cope with it. So those things are something that we try to deal with as a department, that we're there for each other, and also try to give officers that have a tough time, get some counseling, those types of things. So we also have to realize that it's human beings that are serving all of our communities, and this one is no different. So we're human, so we have to have the human aspect of that and understand that we're real, and we do have emotions. And sometimes when you see a lot of bad things back to back, it doesn't necessarily start your day off the greatest sometimes. But we try to reinforce, and Sergeant Rudd and the group, and I tell you that, I think I've told this a few times to other people that have asked me, if something unfortunate or bad would happen to one of my family members or me, I would want no other department to handle this than this one right here. These group, I'd take no other. The detectives I can speak for, and the patrol guys and what they do to secure things, and then the investigators, our last unfortunate homicide that we had. But this group of investigators, when it happened before noon and before midnight, they had that person in custody. But they worked 12 hours. They didn't go home. They don't go home. That's some of the most dedicated individuals I've been around, and I'm proud to serve with them and be a part of the group that we have. So, but they're human, and we're trying to get better. We're not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and we want people like Mr. Bell and others that when they have a bad experience to let us know. That way we can get with the officers that may have been involved in making his day maybe a little less joyful and try to coach that up. So.
Thank you, Chief.
The department's been great. We appreciate it. I saw 10 cars this morning heading down Main Street at 6:15 in front of my bus. So y'all were going after something that I'm sure was what you had to do. But I think it's a great program. I think liability-wise, if ever it goes to court, we're gonna have some people always in a group. We're gonna have trouble, for some reason or other. But if it is one of your men, at least we'll have something to back up on. We trained them. Ms. Didi, I think you're right. Every year, not just this first time, train them. Every year, we have to take courses. Every year, add this to them. If they want to start this thing, finish it off every year that you can go to court and say we trained them. We don't know what happened, but at least it'll be a good defense that we have this program in order to put that on our list, that they train. But I think every year they need to be retrained a little bit. So I thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Ledbetter.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm 100% in favor of the program. I think it's a great idea. And I really like the department's mask. Does every officer have one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do they wear them when they're with people?
There is occasions. I had one recently that, of course, they were in a encounter with someone that wasn't voluntarily complying, and it's hard to call timeout and put a mask back on. So there's been occasions when they haven't, but we're reinforcing that. I have a mandate to my department that it must be worn in the public, and so that mandate is in place.
How about within the office?
Within the office, we have a mandate that if it's uncomfortable, obviously, we test often, so, but we have a mandate to wear the mask.
Okay.
And we have some neck gaiters coming in.
Yeah, we have some net gates, because a
That'll
lot
be
of
easy
times
for them to pull up.
it's difficult if they pull up quick or somebody flags them down, to find it and keep putting it over. The neck gate is a lot easier, like the mayor has on, they can just pull up, so we have someone order should be in next week.
Okay. I just want you all to be safe and everybody
ma'am.
that you come in contact with also.
I get a copy of the numbers every day, and yes, obviously there's been an uptick in that, and we want to be safe and also have people feel comfortable around us.
Councilman Swear.
I wouldn't be the only one with my comment on this, so singled out. But Chief, I commend you and your department for what y'all doing, especially bringing this forward to us, implementing new procedures. Every time we come up here, we have something new that y'all bringing forward, and it's good stuff. What I really did like, though, about the any lower ranked officer has to step in with a higher ranked officer, that he doesn't have to fear that retaliation. Because, a lot of people in business or, a boss or any other higher ranking, they don't say anything. They keep silent because they're scared of what's going to happen with them or their jobs on the line by retaliation or whatnot. So I really like that plan that's implemented in that this EPIC. So I just wanted to point that out. That was something that was discussed and
And you heard the officers themselves that that's a big part of it, and because we wanted to reassure them that it's okay.
Right.
And they know every officer knows what the program is. So even the higher ranking person, because you look at the unfortunate incident, and you know, you won't find law enforcement to condone what happened in Minneapolis. You know, but that was a senior officer that was doing that. If the other ones had intervened, that would not have happened. You know, it won't happen here, because our officers have made that commitment to our community. They won't let it happen. So that's where law enforcement needs to go, to continue to get community trust. People need to know that where you stand as a department, as an individual, as a person, you know, and then as an officer in the profession, that we're not going to stand for anything like this to ever happen here in Iberia. And that's what we represent. We represent you. So thank you.
Anybody else? Thank y'all. Good discussion. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
And thank y'all very much, all officers. All right, Jimmy, now we go to property standards, and we got a bunch of them. And I know we don't vote after a public hearing. I got to control
Do you want me to
myself.
read it?
Jeff, you want to say something first?
Yeah, I just want to explain, you know, for those of you folks who've been here before when we've done this, it's been a while, and some of you are new to this. I put together just a couple pages of information. The long page is kind of a summary of the process that we have to go through for demolitions, and the short page is just the things I think we need to cover in meetings like tonight. But just to back up and give you some background, state law allows local public bodies to adopt ordinances to deal with dangerous structures. So that's what New Iberia has done. So we have ordinances that say, if there's a dangerous structure, we follow this state procedure to deal with it. And what we do is we identify, and council members bring forward, you know, examples of things they want us to look at, or want Jimmy to look at. We identify properties that might be dangerous structures. We don't worry about whether they're pretty or not. We don't worry about whether the neighbors like them or not. We worry about whether or not they're dangerous. And that's really the question. Is this a dangerous structure that we need to protect the public from? And then once we identify that, the inspector does an inspection, figures out what things need to be changed, what things need to be fixed, what problems the property has. We identify the owners of the properties, and in some cases we have dead owners, we have absentee owners, we've got families where 12 people own the property and nobody wants to take care of it. We have to give notice to those people that we're considering taking action against the property. So for local people, we use certified mail. For people who are deceased and we need to notify their heirs or they're absent, or we don't know where they are, and we have a lot of those, we hire an attorney, and Joe Burke is here tonight. Joe's over here in the corner. And Joe runs ads in the newspaper and tries to notify these people that we're considering taking action on their property. And that's required by law. So we're following all this due process, so before we tear somebody's property down, you know, we're giving their property rights respect. Then we have a hearing like tonight. And at the hearing like tonight, we say that a certain piece of property was identified, we gave notice to the owners, we've identified the things that are wrong with the property that make it unsafe. Sometimes these properties have a history, because some of them come up again and again, so we talk about that. Then we talk about the work that needs to be done to fix the dangerous conditions. We ask the owners if they're present, or if they have representatives present, ask them what they're willing to do to address this, because some properties can be fixed, some can't be fixed, some just need to come down. And then the council takes action, and the council can say, we're going to give the owner a certain amount of time, and if it's not fixed by that time, then we'll knock it down. We can postpone this and revisit it at a later date sometimes. Sometimes we can just board them up, and sometimes we just need to demolish them. If we demolish a property, we have to get inspection of the property, we have to worry about asbestos, we have an expense of doing that. We have the right to put a lien on the property to try to get our money back. But the problem is, a lot of these properties aren't worth it. A lot of these owners have judgments and liens already against the property. So getting our money back is pretty difficult. So this is a slow process. It's an expensive process. The best thing for us is when an owner steps forward and says, I'm gonna deal with it and I'm gonna take care of it. And in the past, we've encouraged them to do that, and we've given them time to do that, because that's better than us having to go on that property and spending public bodies to knock the buildings down. But if there's no alternative, that's what we do. And that those judgments are made by the council. So, you know, for each one of these properties, we're gonna have a separate little hearing where we're gonna say, identify the property and the problems, ask people to come forward if they're here, talk about what can be done, talk about what alternatives we have, and the council will decide what action it wants to take. I put together this short page outline just to kind of keep things on track, because sometimes in the past we've gotten in some discussions that have kind of gone far afield. But we need to kind of focus on what is the problem, is there a landowner solution? If there's not, what options do we have, and what does the council want to do? So I put this together just kind of as a guide. If y'all have any questions about the process and you want to talk to me after the meeting or outside of the meeting or call me in my office or whatever, I'm happy to talk to you about it. But it's kind of a business we don't want to be in, but we have to be in for public safety. So we have to deal with these things, and we try to deal with them in a way that respects the public and respects their property rights. So we're going to take these up, I think, one at a time, and Jimmy's going to go through them. If we have questions about whether or not notice was given, I think we have information in all the files. And Joe is here to talk about any advertisements if we need to talk about that. We usually don't, but you know, we just go through these one at a time and take them up, talk about them, decide what to do.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, item 4A.
Public hearing on the demolition and removal of property listed on Resolution 2074 as advertised on December 18th, 2020. Property located at address 1517 Adams Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 3, parcel number 0504-684-500. Owner's name and address, Janelle T. Segura, 1517 Adams Street, New Iberia, Louisiana.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to open our public hearing?
I move.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and second by Councilman Broussard. Is there anyone here to represent this property? Please, if you'd come up. Do you want to make a public comment that this is the time?
This was my brother's home. He died in '06. My sister-in-law died in August of 2020. She didn't have the money to keep the repairs up. We would love to try to keep the house and do the repairs ourselves and stuff to keep the house in the family. We just need to know what we have to do to go about doing it and how long we have.
I should have asked you from the beginning. Can you state your name, please, so I can have it in the record?
Joan Gilbo.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. Jeff, since we're doing this a little different, we'll do all our discussion now and then go to the resolution. Remember before they were lumped together. Now we're doing one house at a time.
One at a time.
So
And I think,
this was public comment. Do I open it up to the council comment right now?
I think I need to go through the pictures. Yeah, I think we need to kind of follow the outline. And I don't just like the outline because I wrote it. But I'm trying to keep things on track. So we identify the property, identify the owners, we verify. Notice was given, right, Jimmy?
Yep.
Okay.
I think this one came from Joe. I think
So
Joe
then
notified
I
me.
think we talk about the dangerous condition. So Jimmy's gonna show us what the dangerous condition is.
The outside shed is unsecured, the rotten wood all over. The siding's coming off the house. Back carport needs to be looked at. It's another shed.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's that one. The siding is falling apart on the house.
Yes.
The roof probably needs to be changed. There's some electrical issues under the carport in the back, and that the wiring and the service both need to look at. It's a lot of maintenance, a lot of termite damage coming up.
All right, thank you. So we have a description of our dangerous condition. Now we go on, which we kind of already started with the owner. I'm sorry I'm a little out of order. We changed our process a little bit. Actually, we made it much better. I think it's going to be clearer once we finish. So you stated that you would like to try to repair the house. Okay. Now we move on to decide what action is taken. This is District 3. So, Mr. Broussard?
Y'all sure y'all want to get involved in this thing? You know, I'm just asking bluntly, straight to you. And otherwise, too, you got a legal matter to get the thing in your name. You called me, we talked before, and I'm not, I wish we could save a rooftop, but it's up to you, none of us. And we're gonna give you a time limit if you want to get involved in this thing. I would look at it hard to see what your next step is. If we just tear it down and you have an empty lot, you inherit an empty lot. You have some legal matters with the lawyer. I think who's gonna end up owning this lot. Not everybody died. You'll talk to the family, whoever. So it's up to y'all to bring it back here, that you're gonna own the thing and you wanna repair it, or just tell us, tear it down. There's a lot to this house. I didn't even see the rest of the back and all that on board in private property, but you showed me some of the back doesn't look good. So I want to be honest with y'all. You look at it hard and strong, because it could cost you a lot. Then maybe starting over and just have an empty lot and build something else or put something there. So if y'all can afford to do it, Mr. Jimmy, we're just asking for the time limit of what we can give them. Not too long.
Oh, that's up to y'all.
Well, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, we give them a little time if they're willing to. At least we have somebody talking. For 2 years, we didn't know who, what, and how until we put the big sign on the house. And the neighbors were talking to me hard about do something with this house.
But
So-
the bad thing about it, they all knew where we lived.
But we had the people.
Nobody ever came to us.
Yeah, but
we never end up.
we were just talking about the owners of this house, so they died. We didn't know. I'm an uncle to a lot of people, to my family. They don't know that I'm an uncle to him. You know, we can't tell. We can't look on the history of that. So they died. So y'all saw the sign up front. Y'all relatives, you know. Now y'all step forward. We're giving you time to see what y'all want to do. But it can't be a lot of time. You know, you have to look at it yourself and see if y'all want to get involved. Hope you appreciate I'm just making you look at it hard, because that's a lot. Even though it has, you know, good value to you for family, it might be hard for y'all to come step in. So I hope you appreciate we're trying to give you time.
Yes.
But what kind of time we can give them, Mr. Mayor, since we have somebody stepping up?
Yes, sir.
At least look at it, or y'all tear it down yourself, you know? You get the thing legally in your name. You know, there's an option that you can come tear it down. I got a couple of them, and I was surprised. The neighbor bought the next door brick home, and I passed by. It's an empty lot now. We love neighbors like that. You know, it's on French Street. I told the mayor to go look at it. He bought 2 old houses on his right side. He bought the brick house on the other side.
Providence Street.
Providence Street, I'm sorry, man, I didn't get it, but we like those success stories, you know, y'all tear it down, y'all fix it up. We don't want to lose rooftops, but we're not being ugly. We have somebody now. Hallelujah, man, y'all come talk to us. We didn't have anybody before. It was just an old house. We didn't know who and what and where, so we want to straighten that out. But if we can give them a month or 2 months, a month to 2 months, whatever, Mr. Mayor, we're gonna give you time for you to get it yourself in order.
Mr. Broussard, the way we normally work, I will gladly state the time, but the way we normally work is, you know, it's your district and you've received complaints about it and you put it up. Most of the time, we give somebody 30 days to keep the kind of, no offense to y'all, but to keep the pressure on, and that they can come up with a plan So a lot of times we'll do 30 days, but you're gonna be free to do whatever you want. But we normally say 30 days, let them have 30 days, then they come back, you might have had time to price and to realize maybe it was more than you wanted to spend. You know, because if you tear the house down, you could tear it down yourself and get prices to do that, then we don't have a lien on your property. Because, you know, understand that you might own the lot, but if we tear it down and we take the action, you're going to be charged. I mean, you're going to have a lot, but you can't just run out and do anything with it because we now have a lien on it for that amount. So, you know, my suggestion back to you, Mr. B, and you can do whatever you want, is if you do 30 days,
I want to give you time.
it gives them time to go do their due diligence, and then we know it'd be revisited. But I'm gonna, you know, hear from the rest. It's your district, but I'll let every
Well, it's not in their name,
I got a
it's
couple
not
of
in their name yet,
Okay.
but it's not in their name yet. They have to work on that for 30 days to see if they can own it.
That would make sense.
You know, so I'll give them 30 days, sir, if you don't mind, to see what they can do. Either, maybe it'll save the city money where they can tear it down.
Okay. Well, we have other council people that wanted to have remarks. Councilman Swear.
Okay. Jimmy, question I have for you. This report, like the lady just asked, what needs to be done to the home in order for it to be back? So do they get the same report showing what they need done in order to get back up to code?
The only thing I had was on what's on the tax rolls of the assessor, okay?
Okay.
So both the people were deceased. So that's why we send it to Joe Burke to try to find these people,
Correct.
to get them here at the meeting.
So now they can have
So-
access to this report
Yeah.
and see exactly what's going
Yeah,
on.
they can come see me tomorrow and I can give you a copy of it.
And-
Okay.
And one more thing, Mayor, if you call all the shots, what we up here for?
All right, I'll give you a recommendation. Let's go 30 days
It's on you, big boy.
and we can revisit it and we can see where they at with actually the ownership, getting it in their name. And we can see what's gonna happen and maybe they can go clean the yard a little bit and see what they can do, get prices. And then in 30 days, you can let us know what you wanna do. If that would be acceptable.
We have,
No, let the attorney supersede me. He could probably got my answer.
No, probably not.
No.
But I'm just
No,
trying to
my
make
question.
it clear. Because sometimes we say, you tear it down within X amount of time, and if you don't, we will, but it doesn't come back to the council. And sometimes we revisit these things where we say,
30 days revisit.
30 days, it comes back to the council, we have a hearing like this, and you tell us what you're gonna do. Maybe you've got some things done, maybe you pulled a building permit, maybe you've walked away, whatever. But the way these motions are written, the resolution that's after each one of these things says, demolish it. So if y'all wanna do something different, don't just say, I'll move what's on the page, because that demolishes it. So if what we're talking about is, in 30 days, it's gonna come up again, so that would be at a council meeting, right? First meeting in February. February 6th. Right, and we'd say, it would come up again, and we'd have another little hearing like this, right? Okay.
Thank you.
My only question, just trying to remember. Have we ever given anybody 90 days? Have we ever given anybody 90
There
days?
have been times, because I do not set the time.
Right.
There have been times that, yes, some people, different council people have different philosophies.
Right.
And there's been a few times that people did give like way too many. One time somebody gave them 120 days. I mean, so, but normally, you know,
And the reason why I
the
say
shorter time frame, the more you get some action. Because we have many houses to come.
Correct. I agree with that too.
You know.
But the reason why I was thinking 90 days, not for them, just I was thinking, did we give people 90 days the first? This has been before the council before. Have we ever given anybody concerning this property 90 days?
Not this problem.
No, I don't think we've ever filled this property. First time this property's ever
That's
been
what I'm
up.
saying. So
They were living in it, taking care of it.
I'm thinking.
Marlon, this is my thing.
Okay.
They need to get a lawyer and see if they can get ownership, because I don't know if the deceased people had children or not.
No.
Yeah, no. So if they can get ownership, then in 30 days, they should know. Then they can come back to us and tell us what they're gonna do.
And that's my question.
That's
Strike
what I'm
90.
looking at.
Strike 90. Let's think about 60. This your district. Just is 30 days enough time to get with a lawyer, find out, and then be ready for?
I think 30 days.
You think it
enough.
is?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my question.
Just keep them on the books for 30 days at a time.
Okay, no other
And see what
comments?
y'all can do.
So,
Just come
Mr.
talk.
Got a resolution.
Okay.
We appreciate.
That'll be the next thing. Well, hang on, first we gotta close the public hearing. We're still in public hearing, okay? Now I'm gonna do my due diligence and make sure we did the whole checklist. Okay, we did the whole checklist. Now I need a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Broussard. Great, now we go on to resolutions. Madam Clerk?
Resolution number 21-03, declaring buildings at 1517 Adams Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 3, condemned and ordered demolished or removed.
Right, and now we have to amend that resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Somebody needs to make a different.
Yeah.
A different motion,
I'll
correct.
make a motion to amend the property on Adams Street, to give them 30 days to come back before the council with a plan of action.
I second the motion.
Okay, Mr. Russo, everybody's good with that? Okay, all right, so we have a motion on the floor, we have,
Deidre gave me a second.
Deidre, okay, so we have a first and a second. Any discussion? No discussion? Please vote your machines. Thank you very much. All right, now we go to property 4B.
Public hearing on the demolition and removal of property listed on Resolution 2075 as advertised on December 18th, 2020. Property located at address 503 Bayard Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 4, parcel number 0502-157500. Owner's name and address Gladys V. Gary, in care of Felicia Windus, 503 Bayard Street, New Iberia, Louisiana.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to open our public hearing?
Motion to open.
Motion by Councilwoman Ledbetter. I need a second.
Second.
Oh, that was quick. I'm gonna say Councilwoman Reed. All right, Jimmy. Let's follow our list.
Somebody here that wants to speak on it?
Okay, great. Great. Not yet, though. We follow our checklist.
Okay.
You gotta tell us about it?
Yep.
Okay.
Tell us about the property.
This structure is in bad shape. The front of it's falling down. The garage is open. The side part is all open. It's got a lot of termite damage. The rear end is falling in. There's a bunch of trash in the yard. That's it. Now, on the inspection report, the structure's falling. It needs maintenance. It needs electrical work inside. Plumbing work needs to be done. All of that. So a lot of work needs to be done to that house.
Okay. So we know the condition. We know what needs to be done. Now, see, we have someone to address the property. Can you please give us your name and
Felicia Windus.
okay, and tell us what you plan?
I just need extra time to have I'm gonna have someone tear it down.
Okay.
I'm not the only owner. I have an uncle and an aunt that owns it, besides my sisters and my other cousins that own it. So I already told them, look, it's in my name. I'm gonna just tear it down.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We
how much
covered
time?
that.
Have them, y'all can review it.
Whose district is it?
Mine.
Okay.
How much time you think you need to?
A month.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on the ball. Good.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Is there any other discussion on this item? Anybody else? Yes, sir.
So, we could either say, you tear it down within 30 days, and if you don't, we will go ahead and do it. Or we could say, it's gonna come back in 30 days for us to decide what to do. So we could decide today, but give you 30 days to do it first. Or we could say, we're gonna decide in a month, or 2 months, or whatever. So, we just need to be clear about what the motion is.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, sir.
Jeff, could we make a motion to give them 30, and if it's not torn down, that we proceed to tear down without coming back to the council?
Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
We can do that.
Okay. Skip the step, we'll come back to the council.
Right. The only difference of that, I'll just put my 2 cents. When you have an owner who wants to tear it down themselves, if you go 30 more days, if you had to, then we wouldn't have any expense. In other words, you gotta watch that, because if you just say, hey, 30 days, if you didn't do it, and then they would have done it in the next 30 days, we just spent $3,000 to $5,000, we might have not had to. But it just depends on, now, if it's a really dangerous condition or the council
is.
person feels strongly about it, then, you know, we can certainly do that. But you just need to weigh all your options. That is just another option, right? You know.
And if I can interrupt again, it is probably cheaper for the landowner to get it demolished
I know it is.
than it is for us to do it.
I know it is. Okay, any other discussion? Councilwoman, you want to put up a motion?
We have to close.
After we close our public hearing. Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Thank you. Councilman Ledbetter. Second. Councilwoman Walcott. Good, good. Okay, so now public hearing's closed and we need a motion.
Okay.
Resolution, you want me to read it?
Well, we changing it.
No, we
No, you don't have to
changing
read it, we changing it.
I make a motion that I move that we revisit in 30 days, let the owner demolish it. Like she said, in 30 days, and then we'll look at it again, revisit in 30 days, and if it's not demolished, then at that time, we'll go on and do it. If I can get a second.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor and I have a second. Who seconded it? I heard two people. I guess it was Dee Dee. Councilwoman Reed. Great. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on this? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for coming. All right. Item 4C.
Public hearing on the demolition and removal of property listed on Resolution 20-76 is advertised on December 18th, 2020. Property located at address 520 Cauldron Lane, New Iberia, District 4, parcel number 503-738,000. Owner's name is SITLL LLC, 1918 Napoleon Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to open our public hearing?
Moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. Jimmy.
How you doing?
I'm good, sir.
Is there anybody here?
Is anybody here to represent this property? No one? All right. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay, the structure has holes on the roof on the right side. The roof needs to be completely repaired. There's a bunch of rotten wood all over the house, boxing. On the other side, the surface is falling off. You can see the holes in the roof on that side. There's a shed in the back that needs to go, and there's a hole in the roof on the rear side of the house. So I don't know what the inside is going to look like. The electrical needs to be redone, and rotten wood needs to be repaired. The roof needs to be restructured. So that's where we at.
All right. And no one's here to tell us their plan. And so we move down our checklist.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
question, it's owned by an LLC
From New Orleans.
Yes,
from New Orleans?
we notified them. I got a copy of the letter back. They signed for it.
It's
Mine.
probably,
And they didn't, there was no response, you said?
Nope.
Okay.
Just the letter. The signed portion of the letter came back.
I
Okay.
think it's a tax sale property.
I think so.
Somebody bought it cheap.
Okay. Councilman Ledbetter, you have a recommendation? After we close the public hearing. Anybody else? Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Thank you, Councilman Ledbetter, and this time it was Councilman Swick. All right, do you have a resolution?
Yeah, one that's there.
That's fine, and if that's.
That's what's on the agenda.
Okay, then that's the resolution we go with. I'll let the clerk read the resolution.
Resolution number 2105, declaring building at address 520 Cauldron Lane, New Iberia, District 4, condemned and ordered demolished or removed.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem and Councilwoman Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this motion? Yes, sir.
just have one comment to make. I think it's a good step because the work that's going to be done in Bank Street, hopefully in the future. So this is one step to cleaning that park up. So I just want to thank Ms. Ledbetter for making that motion.
The neighbors will love it too.
Yes, ma'am. Any other discussion? Then I would please ask you to vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Madam Clerk, 4D.
Public hearing on the demolition and removal of property listed on Resolution 2077 as advertised on December 18th, 2020. Property located at address 118 Hortense Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 6, parcel number 0504-286,000. Owner's name and address, Dorothy Lewis Reedham, care of Marshall Reedham Sr., 1618 Nicotown Road, New Iberia, Louisiana.
I need a motion to open our public hearing. Motion by Councilwoman Swear and a second by, I think Councilwoman, wait, where am I? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Boy, I'm getting ahead of myself. Councilwoman Swear and Councilwoman Marcotte. I heard her and I was trying to keep up. All right. Do we have anybody here to represent the property? Okay, you can come up and then I'll call on you in a minute. Jimmy, tell us about the property.
Okay. The front siding is coming off. There's a tarp on the roof. You can't see it in the pictures. It's in the back.
Yeah.
That's it. The siding on that side needs to be repaired, but most of that wood is rotten, so it would need to be changed too.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know the condition. If you could state your name and.
Edmund Stokes.
Okay, just approach a little bit so we can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Edmund Stokes.
Okay, great. What do you plan on doing?
We planning on fixing it.
Okay. And Jimmy, you'll give him a list of what
Yeah,
needs
I
to be
can
done?
give them a list tomorrow.
Okay. Let's see. All right, now I'll call on, let's see, after we close the public hearing. Anybody else have any comments?
I just want to ask Jimmy, in just layman terms, it's repairable.
Anything's repairable,
Oh.
but that one's gonna take a lot of work, because there's a tarp on the back roof, and I don't know if it's a hole, but water's been going in, I'm sure.
Okay.
So I don't know what the interior condition is, but it can't be good.
I just have one question. Is the address actually 118 Horton?
No, it's 205.
I thought so, because that's on the 200 side. I was jogging in that area, and I'm like, that's not 118.
Yeah.
That's 205.
Yeah.
So that probably needs to be corrected on the paperwork.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
I turned it in as 205, and I was told that
That's,
was 118.
Yeah.
that's what when you go to assessor's rolls, that's what comes up.
No, is it
118.
Literally, the first house is 202?
I know, but we.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
And he
I
turned
was-
it in as that, but we
Yeah.
go by the assessor's roll.
Okay, I just asked only because I passed in that area and I saw, wow, that's 205.
All right, any other comments? Then we'll close up with Dustin.
This is my district.
Mhm.
And the reason, how long have, I know, since I've been in this seat since 17, I don't know who has moved out since then, but how long has this property been vacant?
Maybe like 8 months.
8 months? Okay, 'cause this particular, and I'm not coming down on it, I'm just saying this particular property has been an issue for quite a while. The shape, I've been hearing some loitering, things like that. I know you're not around there to watch it every day, all day. But what are your plans as far as fixing it up? You gonna clean up around there, board it, or you gonna actually remodel? Or
Yeah, we're gonna fully remodel. You know, it holds sentimental value. You know, that was, you know, it wasn't much, but that was one of the only things my mom owned. So we're gonna fully remodel it.
Which I totally get sentimental. I do. I totally get it. But we also got to think about safety, for the area as well. They have a lot of kids that roam there and things like that. And we don't want anything to happen to them either. So your game plan, do you know how long you're willing to start this? How long? Because when are you willing to start the process of remodeling?
I think I think 90 days I can have it fully remodeled.
90 days you can have it fully remodeled?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, can we do every 30 days revisit?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Until, I'm asking Jimmy, is
Yeah.
that something we can do? And if we
Certainly.
don't see anything,
Certainly, we can change our mind.
you know, I mean, because I do have a lot of pressure from people for that property. And I'm gonna take your word.
Yeah, I'm planning on moving there.
Say that again?
I'm planning on moving back there.
Okay.
So I grew up there.
Well,
Once we close our public hearing.
that's fine.
I'll go over it with
Any
you.
other comments? None? Okay, well then I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Councilman.
Second.
Thank you.
And I need a second, Councilwoman Ledbetter. All right, Dustin, it's back to you since it's your district. What's your resolution?
I would like to make a motion for 30 days to revisit. He's saying that it's going to take him 90 days to do a complete remodel, but I want to see his progress every 30 days before we make a decision to go ahead and. Because if he's going to hold up to his word and make this a livable condition home, then we're not in the business of tearing homes down like you say all the time.
That's it, be a win.
You know. So
Okay.
yeah.
So we have a motion on the floor for 30 days. Do I have a second? Okay, seconded. Okay. Mayor Pro Tem seconded. Ricky Belton last. So, any discussion? Any discussion on this item? Hearing, seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you, sir, and we wish you luck. Appreciate you coming. All right, now we move on to Madam Clerk for E.
Public hearing on the demolition and removal of property listed on Resolution 20-78 as advertised on December 18th, 2020. Property located at address 809 Mixon Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 2, parcel number 0500-361-010. Owner's name is Kevin Bayrord, 200 East Lewis Street, Lafayette, Louisiana.
Thank you. Motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lewis. Second, Councilman Marcotte. All right, Jimmy, tell us about the property, and then I'll see if anybody's here.
Okay, the property, the house has everything stripped off of it. All the siding, the corner post on the front carport is not there anymore. There's holes in the wall, the electricals are all gone. The carport can fall at any time, a strong wind, no post. No maintenance, the roof shot, there's rotten wood all around.
All right. Is there anybody here to speak on this property? Okay, take that as a no. So we know we don't have an owner here with a plan. We know that it's dangerous, and we've gone over its faults. And it is in District 2. Marlo, Councilman Lewis.
Yeah, man, we had some serious issues with this house. I know for a fact that every neighbor on that street has called about that house. Not just the house, but the safety of the people that's been in and out of there. There's a young man that's in and out of there, mentally ill. Jimmy knows about it. The chief knows about it. You know about it, man. And the little guy is the one who's been taking all of the lumber off of here. But he's doing it from a mentally ill standpoint, He thinks it look good like that. Now, if we can get him to continue to tear it down, we'll be all right. I literally got a call. I called Jimmy. I got a call the day he was ripping the plywood off the outside of the house. And we didn't know he started a fire in there, or
I remember.
he was burning. Was it in the house? Because I called the chief of
he
police.
was burning wood.
Yeah, we have to, and it's not just for him, but obviously the house is. I mean, I'm gonna make a motion to demolish it.
Okay. Well, after we close our public hearing, does anybody have any other comments about it? Then I need a motion to close our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Marcotte. I need a second. Second, Councilwoman Ledbetter. Okay, Marlo, back to you. Are we going with our original resolution?
Going with the original resolution.
All right, so I need, that would be a motion?
Motion.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Reed. And any discussion on this resolution? Hearing and seeing none, I'll ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. 4F.
Public hearing on the demolition and removal of property listed on Resolution 2079 as advertised on December 18th, 2020. Property located at address 1104 6th Street, New Iberia, District 2, parcel number 0500 759 490. Owner's name, Andre Fritz Broussard et al. For Clarence A. Johnson Jr., 1104 6th Street, New Iberia, Louisiana.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to open our public hearing?
Motion.
Well, that was good. Yeah, okay. Councilman Broussard and Councilman Lewis. Thank y'all. Is there anybody, I'm gonna let Jimmy tell us about it. Is anybody here representing? No. All right, Jimmy, tell us a story.
Okay, this one, the structure is rotten all around the outside. The roof is missing. The windows all shot out, busted out. Back door is open. Oh, that's the wrong one. And the trees are pushing up the sills on the front of the house. But you can see all along the bottom edge, it's all rotten. Termites, water damage.
All right.
And we served letters, but nobody answered. Both letters came back.
Okay. I see our Mr. Burke is standing up.
I don't think that's one you
That's not one that I was asked to advertise.
Okay. So we know what conditions in. We don't have an owner representing the property. So whose district? District 2. Yes, sir.
Again, I can tell you all about that one as well. One of the first houses that came to my attention, a dog died in the house, a big dog, about 4 years ago.
I remember that. Right when we got in office.
Stinking up the neighborhood pretty good. So went through that deal, and that was 4 years ago. Nothing has been done. We've been cutting the grass, right? Doing all that stuff.
Yep.
The neighbors, I mean, it's an eyesore. The neighbors are terrified, not of the condition, but of the probabilities of people in and out of there. And of course, the condition is horrible. The people who live next door to it, on both sides, I mean, they got good people everywhere, but these people are good. They care about this neighborhood, and they've been dealing with this for 4 years. So I'm gonna suggest to 5. I'm gonna suggest to tear that down immediately.
Okay. Well, as soon as we finish our public comment, anybody else have any comments? There's none. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Second.
And I need a second. Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Thank you. Okay, Marlo, we going with the resolution at hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
Resolution number 2108, declaring building at address 1104 6th Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 2, condemned and ordered demolished or removed.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second, Councilman Swear. Do we have any discussion on this resolution? Hearing, seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. All right, our last one for tonight, 4G.
Public hearing on the demolition and removal of property listed on Resolution 2081 is advertised on December 18th, 2020. Property located at 413 West Washington Street, New Iberia, Louisiana, and 314 St. Jude Avenue, New Iberia, Louisiana, District 5, parcel number 0505 39,000. Owner's name and address, Ward Camby Upchurch, Ross Estate, 132 Tyson Road, Karen Crow, Louisiana.
Thank you. Motion to open our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Lewis and a second by Councilwoman Ledbetter. Is anyone here to represent? Just asking. Nope. Okay, Jimmy.
All right, we sent letters. Both of the letters came back. unclaimed. Okay. The house is, this is the front house facing Washington Street. That's the front porch, front carport, it's coming down. The back porch is fallen. And then this is 14 St. Jude. This house is almost on the ground. Nope. So that's his one house. And then they both on the same property. This one has parts rotten wood, parts falling off the front and the back.
Thank you. I saw our city attorney has his hand up.
Yeah, okay, when it comes back unclaimed, we do go with the second letter, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
both letters came back.
I did advertising for this.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. All right, so we have no one here. It's been advertised properly, and we can see the shape, and you've given us a report. All righty, then we go to, that's District 5, so I'll call on you.
Yeah, I mean, I went by both of those properties and they need to be demolished. They're in terrible conditions, and I can remember being on the campaign trail and people asking me to get them demolished. I wasn't a city council person yet, so I agree it should be demolished.
Okay, when we close our public hearing, we'll come back to that. Any other comments? Oh,
Jim, just briefly, in one of the pictures, I saw some fuel tanks. Is that adjacent property?
Yeah, that's adjacent.
So we don't have to deal with that?
The old supply house on the corner of Hopkins.
Because that could be
St.
significant
Jude.
cost increase if we had to deal with it.
No, that's a separate property. That's the only way I could get that side of the house in the picture.
Good,
Okay, anybody else have any comments?
So one
Yes, sir.
part of the house is on St. Jude and one is on Washington?
Yes, 2 houses on one property.
2 houses on one lot.
Two houses.
Yeah.
One faces Washington, the
Yeah,
other faces
Faces
they
St.
face
Jude.
different, but they're on the same lot. So we hitting a double. Okay, any other comments? Then I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by, I don't know who was first or second, it's closed. Councilwoman Reed, Councilwoman Morcott. Thank y'all. All right, I'll go back to you, Councilwoman Reed. So you want to go with the resolution that's
Yes.
on the page, okay? Madam Clerk, if you'd please read it.
Resolution number 2109, declaring building at address 413 West Washington, New Iberia, Louisiana, and 314 St. Jude Avenue, District 5, condemned and ordered demolished or removed.
So I have a resolution on the floor. Do I have a second? Second.
She made the motion.
Yes, she made the motion, so I just need a second. Who is the second? Councilwoman Marcotte? Okay, that's fine. Councilwoman Marcotte. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion on this resolution? Hearing and seeing none, I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Good work. Jimmy, the one thing, so it's 4 houses we demolished. Good. Remember how we had brought houses as kind of like who's on deck?
Yeah.
Okay, with that philosophy that we did last time, we actually got a couple of people to take action on some houses. So what I'd like to do, of course we continue these, but I would like to ask for another round of who's on deck.
Well, who's on deck?
Yes.
7-Eleven, West
Well,
Perch.
I'd like you to bring the pictures like you did last time.
Oh, okay.
So next time we do, at the next meeting, if you don't mind, bring the list of who's on the deck and show the pictures, because that,
Okay.
a couple of people acted on their houses. That saved us money and made something happen. I want to continue to keep that motion going.
Okay.
Forward motion. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, 5A.
Resolutions. Resolution 2101, a resolution in support of New Iberia Police Department's participation in the EPIC Ethical Policing is Courageous program.
Do I have a motion? Motion, Councilman Lewis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Who did it?
Justin first.
Dustin was first. Okay. Councilman
Oh,
Swear.
Dust.
Great. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you very much. And the chief and I are working on budget cost of what we think. It's not a huge amount of money, but there will be some expenses with it. Sending people to training. There's an Epic pin that goes on the uniform. You know, it's going to be have some cost. So we'll be getting back to you on that. Good. Thank you very much. I think that's great. 5B.
Resolution 2002, a resolution accepting capital outlay funding for facility planning and control project number 50 ML 12002, New Iberia, City Park and West End Community Centers improvements, and designating Jane Broad to act on behalf of the City of New Iberia in all matters pertaining to this project, as well as authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute any and all contracts or documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion? Motion. Councilman Lewis and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. This is our roofs for our 2 gyms, just to tell you. This is we've been waiting on this. This is a really good project. Is there any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Great. Now I can get the planning done, and then we can get our contract documents done, and then go to a bid date. So that's our match is $300,000 that we have budgeted, and then we're getting $700,000 from the state. Round figures.
I think facility planning control is supposed to pay for the catchment fees.
Yes.
You didn't sign the contract.
Yes, I have to sign it. Now that I can sign it, that'll be coming. Good. Thank you all very much. That's exciting. That's going to lead to a lot of good things. Madam Clerk, 6A.
Introduction of ordinances. Introduction ordinance 2001, authorizing the mayor to sign a contract for computer service and maintenance between the City of New Iberia and Vince Como LLC, and to set for public hearing on January 19th, 2021.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Swear and a second by Councilman Lewis. Is there any discussion?
So,
Yes, ma'am.
is this the COPS?
This is, I'll explain all 3 of them. They're all kind of go together, okay? Right now, we have a company from Lafayette that has been hosting some of our computer and some of our security. They've been doing that, and they run all of this, okay, for us. We have a unique opportunity Vince Como does all our computer maintenance and IT stuff on a regular basis. We would be bringing him on board to further utilize these services, and then in partnership we're bringing on Cox, and Cox had a savings for us. So what we're going to do is use local, number 1. Number 2, we're going to save some money because it is much cheaper. We do get a discount, and that discount helps us that we don't get now because it's a total package with the company that we're presently utilizing. So the reason we're doing this is because it will be a savings. We've notified the other company, and they didn't have an objection to it. So, because they're really not doing that much for us. They're a total package company, and I'm going to say who it is because I think I owe them a debt of gratitude. Raider Solutions came in. That's we used to call him Chopper when he was little, but it's Chris Raider. He came in when we were hacked because we had a complete hack, a year and a half ago. He came in and helped save our butt. I'll be honest with you. He did a very good job of that. We just could not afford the whole package. So he took part of it. We did some things in-house. We brought Vince Como in. They handled some things, but it has been kind of piecemeal in 3 different locations in a way. They did that for us. They did a very good job for us. We kind of expressed when he came in that this would not be a permanent solution for us, but between he and the National Guard that came in, they really got us up and running and out of a bond. So I'm in debt for that. Thank them for that. But this is a cheaper solution for us, and we've got to look long term. It also is a New Iberia-based company, which helps. I mean, you can't always look at that, but anytime you get the benefit of saving money and using someone in your community, it just makes sense. So all 3 of these are have to be done to have all the parts and pieces of this.
So, I come from the IT world, so clearly I went through the contracts, and I just had some questions.
Sure.
Couple things that I didn't see is like the SLAs for uptime, like upload speeds, download speeds. I didn't see where we had any kind of guaranteed speeds on this new, because we're going to get supposedly more bandwidth. So it's like, what's the upload speed versus download speeds? That's important.
Okay, that's why I got the people from Cox here tonight.
Okay.
And they probably could come up and give us an answer to those questions.
The other thing I noticed is that we have a contract, I guess part of the contract is with Microsoft to get Microsoft 365.
Yes.
And it sounds like it's going to be a subscription-based kind of service, which is great. The thing that I was concerned with was when I looked at the SLAs for their call center, it says that their response time is anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. I'm just wondering, is that sufficient for the people that actually are going to have a problem? Because if you have to wait 24 to 48 hours for an answer, I just want to make sure that we're clear on what we're getting
Right.
from a response time perspective. I'm big on SLAs, so I'm just trying to understand what kind of SLAs are going to be in place for the city so that at least during the hours of 8 to 6,
Yes.
we know we're covered.
We know we're covered.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. Hi. Good evening.
Hey, my name is Joshua Carrier. I work for Cox Business. I'm off of U.S. Landry in Lafayette. I work in the engineering department. And Councilwoman Reed brings up a very, very good point. These are the things that you got to concern yourself with in regards to what you're getting. So, number one, the upload and download is 100 megs. The SLAs are 4 hours, 200 megs, 200 by.
Is that what you'll be moving to?
Yeah, you're going to be moving to the 200
You're
meg
doubling
range.
your speed.
We're doubling what we have.
It's also optical. So it's not optical to the corner. It's dropping fiber optics in the building to
Which is already here.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
utilizing
to an an Alcatel-Lucent, which is a carrier grade gear. Okay, so that's how we disperse the signal. In regards to the SLA for our all-inclusive Microsoft solution, you're looking at SLAs between 15 minutes in regards to response time, which is truly an industry best. And I could give you the history on how we were able to accomplish that and really put it all together, but we'll just keep it brief unless we want to dig into it. But we do have an engineering staff that works exclusively on our Microsoft platform and the platform that we share with Microsoft. Hence, we are able to offer 15-minute to 4-hour solution, pending on the issue. So, just want.
No, that's great. But the one thing that I'd like to see is it in the contract, some sort of guarantee on our SLAs, because as you know, we have to have a way of saying, hey, you met your SLAs, you did a great job.
Absolutely.
Or you did not meet your SLAs, and you guys need to give us some sort of service credits or something to make sure that performance is in place.
That's correct. Yes, we can. We can include that. We can include all SLAs in regards to uptime
It's actually
and
in the
response
terms
time.
and conditions.
I read
It is.
something, but I didn't.
It's in the terms and conditions
knows
already.
more than I did.
Yeah, depending on the paperwork that you have right now. I know that we're going to be coming back, I think, on the 19th or something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
So depending on the paperwork that you have right now,
Everything
your
should be-
SLAs and uptime is all going to be included.
And something I would like to say, I am Tarina Gary. I am the senior sales rep, and I've had this account for quite a while now, and I've appreciated all the service and everything that y'all have given us. So what we've done was put together a team. Not only do you have Josh here as your engineer, you have the senior account rep, you have a service manager, and you have a SAS, a strategic account specialist that works with your billing, with any kind of issues, billing or ticket issues. But you also have a service manager that actually comes out and says, okay, let's look at your tickets, let's see what's going on, let's see where we can help you, where we need to do changes. So we created a team for the city.
All-inclusive account reviews yearly.
So I also noticed that I'm new, so today's my first day, so
Hey.
I apologize. I noticed that a lot of the people in the office still have actual phones on their desk. Are you guys not going to move the city to IP phones because
You're already on IP phones.
So, I mean, but not physical phones. I mean, on the computer, because if COVID taught us anything, is that we have to be prepared to work from anywhere. And so they can't necessarily take their physical phone home, but if they had an IP phone on their computer with a headset, they can just be like they're in the office.
I like
So-
you.
Well,
We
I-
can
first
always
of all,
talk about
Well,
it. You
it
can
also
make some
saves city
changes.
money. They don't have to do that.
No. First of all, we'd like to.
You know what hardware.
Yeah.
You know what phones on the desk.
Well, you can always change it. You can always change it. So what we can do is sign everything. Within the term of the agreement, you can make changes of anything that you want.
I would love to design something like that
Yes.
for you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Because, I mean, what we want to do is have some flexibility. You don't have to have physical phones anymore. So.
We can do that.
Just a thought.
Absolutely.
And I don't know when the contracts come up again. That's probably more Tarina, but technology is moving so fast. Our solutions for voice and VoIP and remote workers, if COVID has taught us anything, and we have a lot of people responding to our hosted solution, to our hosted voice solution, because we are able to make it very cost effective, and we're able to make it very, very efficient in regards to how we situate it in the cloud. So whenever it's time to review that, just let us know, and more than likely you'll be
Because
looking
there are
at
77 Cisco IPC phones right now. So if she wants to change it, she wants to go mobile, absolutely, we can put people mobile.
And
It's
I'm
not a
just
problem.
suggesting it because I know that COVID has taught us that you gotta be able to be flexible and work from home.
Yeah.
So every person well, I guess this building, should be able to be flexible to work
IPC.
from their homes, if necessary.
Yeah.
So
And an IP phone would allow them to do that.
I'll
I
say
won't use
this
a
too,
headset.
in that you also have, with the current solution that you have, because I heard budget, I heard it come from somewhere, so we want to be, yes, pro tem. So what you currently have is a IP Centrex solution. Centrex is probably a 70-year-old concept. My wife's grandfather ran it in New Orleans, but Cox resurrected it, and we based it around IP. You actually have a portal that you can manage remotely
From your
for
home.
every one of these phones from home. And really all you guys lack per user is the app right now. I'm just throwing that out there, is the app. So there is an app that you can make calls from and to. You can receive calls, and it looks like you're at your desk.
Right,
So
exactly. Okay.
whenever we're ready to look at that, we can do it.
I'm just asking, so.
Yeah, the app is an additional feature. So if you want to try a couple of them, it's no big deal. Hook you up with a couple of apps.
Yeah, you're not overhauling a system.
So what happens is that she's here, Miss Reed takes a phone call at her desk. She stands up, she needs to walk to her car. She hits the app, the call goes to her cell phone. They never see her cell phone number. They still think they're calling the main line. She gets in her car, she takes the call. Her phone rings at her desk. Her phone will ring. She hits the app, she answers the call. They still don't know where Miss Reed is. Miss Reed is mobile. So yes, we can do that.
A lot of companies use this in the form of emergency operating centers and things like that. You know, if workers are displaced, technically you're not if you're in the cloud, and you guys already have that technology. So it's already here. It's just an ad.
Yeah.
So there's no rebuilding.
That's good. And we, coming from where we were before our computer hack, we have, moved much more to technology, all to the cloud, much more steps, and so it's a process. I wish you were here when we got hacked, but we weeded through it, and Vince's, y'all all have been a big help, and we have been very satisfied with the services we've gotten from Cox, and as well as Vince has stepped in a little over a year ago, I guess, and that has worked very well. But I do realize we will have to continue to morph, and we're not finished. More technology changing so quickly. That's just, it'll come down to budget, and that might not be something that everybody needs. It might be something, because we have already, from COVID, sent people to work remotely from home, and not everyone could. There were some functions that it didn't work for them to go remote, but so I'm always open to, embracing, what's out there. We just, as we talk about it, we'll just figure the budget and see what we can do.
Cox will be with you every step of the way. We'll appreciate that.
Yeah. Bet you our crack dealer. Here you go. Try this.
Try that.
What else you need?
What else you need?
Yep.
This isn't like.
Seemed like I heard that on TV.
I know.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. I noticed that when I went to visit that people said physical phones on their desk.
Right.
And I was just surprised.
Yeah. Cool.
We have situations, most recently with a dealership that everybody would recognize. Physical phones, instead of, if you got a tower and for your PC and it crashes and which happens, or it goes down, and your phone is just relying on the PC itself. We found that a lot of people are sticking with. You got some pretty advanced phones that are on the desk. While there's still physical phones on the desk, PC headphone technology isn't always. It's good for some, not so good for others. Just a thought.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Any further questions?
No, I'm good.
Good. Anybody else have any questions?
I have one question. So the technology Ms. Dee is talking about, would it cost us more, or sound like I heard they said something that?
Everything costs more, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that would be something we
It's
can
an additional
explore.
feature. I mean, or she can change out where she doesn't want her
Yeah.
phone at all. She might want to go that route.
So,
You have features currently in the technology now, though. This is
Yeah,
a great
you
question.
have that. She has that.
We can come
capability.
and educate where you can actually there are forwarding features within the cloud that you can access from any internet connection. So if you guys couldn't get back here, or you couldn't get back to your offices,
They've been working remotely.
Yeah.
I call Vince and say turn.
That's why I turned around and
We
kind of
actually
pointed
have
at
been
you.
doing that.
Vince can
Yeah, so
educate
it's-
on that as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I just keep that to a minimum because, we
10-4,
are
yeah.
here for a reason, and we
Yes.
work in a pool of people for a reason. So that is turned on and off as it's needed. That's
Okay.
not something that is just on all. I call Vince. I mean, that's how that's our control feature. I call Vince and say, okay, so-and-so's gonna work from home, turn it on, basically. But it's not an option because we are still a pool-based company.
Hey, man,
Cool.
Human
Cool.
interaction is undervalued nowadays.
Yeah, well,
so
we're
I'm with
we're
you.
a human service business. That's what we do.
Yes, sir.
Good. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much. We appreciate it.
Good conversation. Okay, so we are still on 6A.
We have a
Right?
motion and a
Yeah,
second.
we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Not, then I would ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, 6B.
Introduction of ordinance 2102, authorizing the mayor to execute a commercial service agreement between the City of New Iberia and Cox Louisiana Telecom, LLC, for phone, facsimile, internet, and cable services, and to set for public hearing on January 19th, 2021.
Do I have a motion? Motion, Councilman Lewis and the Mayor Pro Tem, Ricky Gonsalas. Do we have any discussion on this side?
so can we just make sure that whatever you sign has SLAs clearly spelled out in the contract?
Yes, and they're gonna bring that to us.
You have that contract.
Yeah, you're gonna show it to me. Somebody's gonna show it to me and I'll bring it back so that before we vote on it as a final, you'll be satisfied.
Okay.
And if you're not, we'll amend it to y'all.
Okay.
Anybody else? Good. Then I'll ask you please vote your machines. Thank you. 6C.
Introduction of ordinance 2103, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of New Iberia and Rapid Scale Incorporated, a Cox business company, for Microsoft Office 365 products, licensing and services, and to set for public hearing on January 19th, 2021.
Do I have a motion? Motion, Councilwoman Marcotte and Councilwoman Ledbetter. Do we have any discussion?
So I do have one question about this too.
Sure.
So the information I received is pretty generic. It doesn't look like it's specific to the City of New Iberia, this proposal that was in here. So my question would be, is that one of the line items says it's a basic migration. I don't know, are you guys currently on the cloud with your?
Yes.
Okay, just because a basic migration of your
It's
files.
switching from one company to another.
Yeah, so.
That's all that is.
Basically,
Yeah,
all we're doing
okay.
is switch.
I just
Raiders
wanted to
has
make
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else has it now and
Yeah.
switching to us.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because a basic migration might not give you everything you were thinking, so I just want to make sure
I see.
it includes all of those things. Okay.
Okay. Anybody want to address that? Do we have anything to? It's
Well, our biggest thing right now is we're trying to bring everything to the city, to license it to them, instead of having it licensed through other organizations.
yeah. We'd rather have our own.
So that way, if something happens, everything belongs to the city.
Okay.
Yeah. See, right now Raiders has our licenses.
Right.
I think it's prudent for us.
And right now,
I agree.
we're purchasing our own licenses through the city, but we have some with Raider, some with the city, and
So
we're trying to bring everything
Bring it
together.
all in house.
Just, it's easier to manage.
Okay, and that's gonna be agreeing to migrate data or
Yes,
move
we
licenses over?
let them, put them on notice, let them know that we would be leaving and doing this.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none, please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. All right, now we move on to councilman remarks. I'm going to start with Councilwoman Marcotte.
I'm excited to be here. I know several of you already, and I think we'll work very well together. As far as announcements, let's say for my district, I did create a Facebook page for District 1. It's called the City of New Iberia, District 1. Very easy to find. So far, several people have already expressed complaints there, so that's fine with me. It's worked for my neighborhood, so I think it's going to work for the district as well. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say Happy New Year to all of you all, also to the constituents of, well, the citizens of New Iberia. Happy New Year. Definitely looking forward to working with this new council. This was a good meeting. It felt good, productive, a lot of good information. Thanks for the IT lady. Keep it short and sweet. Thank y'all. Looking forward to working with y'all.
We had a very serious deadly accident around the holidays on Julia Street. 4-year-old crossing the street, got killed. Our sympathy and everything goes to the family. And Mr. Mayor, we're moving forward. I was wrong, I thought it was on French, but it's Providence Street. I mean, that's great when I go look around. I mean, I'm looking at some old houses, and I've been talking about it for 2 and 3 years. I mean, a long time, junk, and the neighbors give me trouble. Man, I went around that corner it was about a year ago, and I'd be doggone, they had 3 houses on that corner gone, empty lot. The neighbor bought those 3 houses and destroyed them like that. So I had a house on the other side, a brick home, with a hole in the roof. I mean, we tried for 1.5 years, 2 years. I'd be doggone if that neighbor bought that house and it's an empty lot or another. I was amazed when I passed by. What is going on here? And the neighbor bought the house, all those houses, and cleaned them up. I hope we have a lot more neighbors like that all over the place. Come do it for the city of New Iberia. I want to give them big praise. That's real big praise to clean up your own neighborhood. Somebody buying these things. I wish you had that in every other block around the neighborhood. Adam Street, I think Adam Street, neighbors I'm talking to you, we giving them a little time to see what they can do with that old house. We want to keep a rooftop, not just destroy them. So we giving them a little time to see what they can do on Adam Street. Help is coming, hopefully. And if not, we're going to take it down. Happy New Year to everybody. Have a great year. Be safe.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, what you got?
We'll be short and sweet, but obviously I'm very humble, very excited to serve in such a dynamic council as everyone can see. I think the dynamics here all believe in progression, and this city badly needs it. But the progress that you guys have made over the last 4 years is significant, and I want to continue to add to that. But I do have a problem, and I've been warned. Since I'm a parish migration from the courthouse, I'm not coming to the courthouse anymore. I'm coming to the city hall. So that's gonna be the most difficult part of this job. But I am in city hall now, and I'm all into the city, and I look forward to work with you guys, super excited for New Iberia.
Thank you, Councilman Levitt.
I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone, and that's it for me.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
So,
Councilwoman Reed.
I'd also like to say Happy New Year, and also thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to serve my community. And like Councilman Marcotte, I'm kind of slightly different. I'm migrating my district page away from Facebook. I've created a website. So anybody in District 5, if you'd like to submit an issue to me, you can go to cnid5.com. The City of New Iberia, but it's cnid5.com, and you can go to the webpage and hit submit an issue. And if you see something in the community that you don't like, you can take a picture. You can also upload the picture along with your comments and send it to me, and I'll respond to you within 24 to 48 hours. So again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve. I'm sorry I made the meeting go a little longer tonight. I won't do that every week or every other week.
That's government work. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. I know who to call now when I have things to troubleshoot on my computer. So, lady to my left here taught me a lot in a little bit of time. But I want to wish everyone Happy New Year's. And I'm looking forward to being a part of this council here. We had a great run the last 4 years, making the city move forward, what we were doing. And Ms. Marcotte, Mr. Gonsalas, Ms. Reed, I'm looking forward to it. I think we can get a lot done. So, and that's it for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep my remarks brief. You know, we had our swearing in today. It was a wonderful ceremony. It went very well. Weather cooperated. I am really excited about this council. You know, we had a great 4 years of the last council. I'll take one more opportunity to thank all of them, people who have returned, people who haven't. We worked as a team, but this is the new team. And I'm excited. You know, this was the first little run tonight, and it's good. I mean, we are going to be a team. We're going to continue to move New Iberia forward. We have big challenges. We have always an issue. There's always something trying to take us down, but we fight. And the thing that I've seen over the last year with COVID and the hurricanes and computer hacks and the pandemic, our community pulls together, and this council pulls together, and we have made a lot of steps to make our community better. We have a lot to go. But we have some resources at our hand, you know, to start with this new council, with the money that we've gotten from the CARES Act. I think you'll see projects coming. There's a great energy here. I think we'll embrace technology and make any changes we can to make this just a better place for us all to live. That's the whole point. But I'm committed to continue with the energy and the commitment that we've had the last 4 years. So this is exciting. This is good. This is fun. So I thank all of you, and welcome to the team, and welcome back. And you know, the last 4 were good, and these 4 are gonna be even better. So I thank you all. We have properties for sale on Civic Source. Look that up at civicsource.com. And the next city council meeting is January 19th. And I need a motion to adjourn. Thank you.